Hey there, hi there. Welcome, collective. It's me, Priscilla B, and this is going to be the second video for the Shadow Queen series that I'm working on. So basically, it's just a collective energy reading, and we're going to see what comes through. So first I have an angel number for you, 3333. Social skills, hope, optimism, liberation, success, prosperity, excitement, enthusiasm. The problems you have today will eventually disappear. Your guardian angels encourage you to maintain a positive outlook on life, since your luck may be about to change. It is time to put to use your captivating energy and inspirational personality. Don't let your ego get the best of you. That's a really good angel number, because I do feel like we have a little bit of clash of the egos happening right now in the cosmos. Probably has something to do with this Shadow Queen energy. And I don't know, just like collectively, it's when you're thinking of Shadow Queen energy or shadow energy, there is going to be a lot of tension in the air because someone or multiple someones are not really cooperating with staying in this positive outlook and this healthy lifestyle. All right, so yeah. Ooh, we got the witch. Yep. I love it. You're busy over here doing your own thing. You've got the power of the swords, the cups, the pentacles, the wands. You're very hard at work here. You have a woman who's using all her tools right here to get the job done. Okay. And then you have the Page of Chalices. Okay, so you have a young artist, okay, a child painter, a child artist that, leads with their feelings and their emotions. Ooh, and you have the Eight of Wands. So you have a lot of feminine energy here. And there's a woman here who is making her own wands, creating magic here. And she's probably making these wands for other magicians as well, for other witches as well. I feel like you have like a third generation here. There's the mother, the daughter, and the grandmother. And it's like each stage of this, each version of this is really you, okay? It's you as a child, painting, leading with a lot of feeling and emotion, as children often do. And then you have your current energy where you're creating something beautiful here, and you are sharing your skills, and you're giving that out here, and that's your craft, and that's your magic. And then you have your future self, and that's putting it all together, and making that magic last. Oh yeah, Four of Wands. Okay, so there's definitely someone here who wants to get to know you better. They're interested in your feelings and your emotions. And you have the Four of Pentacles. So you have somebody kind of like creeping around, spying on you, kind of, while you're at home, sort of, minding your own business, doing your own thing. Okay. That's funny. Okay. Oh my gosh. And then you have the High Priest. Okay. So the Witch and the High Priest. Yeah. This is two very spiritually guided ancestors, or mentors that really want to see you achieve success here. They're drawing in a lot of light source power here to kind of protect you and guide you. Two of Chalices. You have another couple here who's sharing in this enjoyment together and this merriment together. And then you have the 10 of Pentacles. So this sort of like wraps it all up, is that third generation. You have the mom and the dad and the grandpa, and then this grandchild here playing by the water, or not the water. Oh yeah, there's some water there with her pony. So you're like, you want to create this, like you're working on this, like this is something you have achieved or you're working on achieving. Is that 10 of Pentacles trying to bring that about, I feel like. Yeah. Okay, so Knight of Chalices, 3 of Wands, and the Earth Mother, the Empress, 3 of Athamas. Okay, so there could be the reason why I think you're dealing with some challenges and stress right now is 7 of Athamas. Okay, so you have like a mom or wife or here, a woman waiting for her husband to come home. Okay, he's been out hunting. Okay, but then you have the 8 of Athamas. Okay, so you have sort of this tangled fear happening, okay, in the dark wood. And then you have the 9 of Wands. So you have a man like almost like counting all his wands, or I don't know, he seems suspicious of something, but there's a fairy there. Knight of Chalices, a man bringing in emotional abundance. Okay. 3 of Wands, a man who wants to travel, contemplating getting on this ship and going far away, maybe on a journey. And then you have the Earth Mother and the 3 of Athamas. Okay, so you have a woman who is, the mother archetype, and she's standing in her power. This is like fruition. This is nurturing. This is a lot of goddess energy here. But then you have the 3 of Athamas, which is a woman coming home carrying, like bags of groceries, right? And then there's the Swan. So it's a lot of different energies at play here. You do have hope, you do have optimism, but yeah, the divine feminine, yeah. I feel like you're really channeling that energy in when it comes to this, the sickle. Look, that's like harvesting the wheat, right? Harvesting the rose. And you have the rose, the scientist. Okay, I feel like that's you. Like you're studying things, you're analyzing things, you're doing tests, you're coming up with different theories and hypotheses and outcomes. And then you have the Ace of Wands. This is your creative spark. This is the idea. This is the major like aha sort of moment in like a creative way. And then you have Keepers of the Earth. You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. Yeah, I was definitely getting that from like the witch and the high priest. It's like your ancestors, they probably were like, I don't know, like for some reason you kind of like inherited some of their problems when you're like, why can't I just like inherit like generational wealth or a house or a nice car or something? But like instead you inherited like their problems. Like they left a like path of destruction behind, and now like it seems like it's falling on your shoulders to sort of like clean it all up. Yeah, 2 of Pentacles. Like there's something here with your family tree tied to Pentacles, tied to money, tied to like they always worried about loss of money, or they always were like materially focused, where you're much more of like a deep-rooted person in like emotions and sensitivity and like feeling out and like sort of sussing out what is going on, like what's the vibe. That wasn't something your ancestors really did. The serpent, yeah. Kundalini energy. Okay, so then we have the visionary awake. Okay, with an intuitive perspective, I see the bigger picture. Okay, and that's you. That's kind of like what you've inherited, though. Like, I know it seems like you might have inherited like financial problems or stress or whatever from your ancestors, but I think there's like another side to it where that might seem like the most current energy that you've inherited, but there's something deeper here. Like, if you really go really far back to like your ancestors who existed long before, you know, nickels and dimes existed, you know, there was an other form of currency. And I feel like that currency was energy and who you could trust and who you could feel. And like, I feel like that intuitive energy existed so long ago that it's almost like you're like the first one in your family to really like tap into that. And you're awake. You see the bigger picture now. You see beyond just this narrow scope of what. So, yeah, like, for example, your grandma and your grandpa, maybe they didn't really leave you with, like, a whole lot to work with, you know. Maybe they, you know, couldn't figure it out. But you are the visionary. You're the one who's awake. You're the one who's seeing the bigger picture and the intuitive perspective. Okay? And I feel like this serpent is just another reminder of like shedding your skin, and like the year of the snake just ended, but like now is a time for you to see like that has awakened you to like this new version, this like the empath, right? But then we have like transgression with the snake and the woman, like all seductive, like 3 of Wands. Yeah, it's like there's a masculine energy here. It's like if you 9 of Swords, yeah, the evil swan, right? There's definitely an energy here that if you try to like really go into like who you are and like the feelings that you feel, there's a sense here that there's gonna be like someone who maybe isn't looking at you, or maybe not wanting to see the real you. And then there's like the swan is very angry here, right? And this young boy, he's like not scared, okay? But this like older man, like this adult man, he's looking away. So I feel like there's kind of like oh, there's the Ace of Swords again. Yeah. Or actually, that was the Ace of Wands. So, yeah. So there's like a sense of feeling of clarity here, of mental clarity, where you're like, I see the bigger picture. I see what needs to change in order for the truth to be revealed. And there's someone here, I think, who's a little bit, maybe not saying they're scared or not, but they're acting sort of a little bit different. Like, yeah, 8 of Swords again. Feeling trapped, hopeless, imprisonment, paralyzing fear. Astrology, Jupiter, and Gemini. So that could be why, yeah. Freedom, hopeful, empowered, and healing, surrender. Okay, so business, the ego, absolute decisions, manifestation, practicality, and skill. Okay, so someone here is feeling very trapped and hopeless, but you're someone who's not feeling that way. You're feeling a sense of freedom and hopeful and empowered and healing and surrenderness from this. You're like, well, you know what? Like, this is where I shine, right? This is where I come out and say, okay, wait a second, you know, like, what? 4 of Pentacles, vitality. Yes, you're very strong here. Your ancestors are here to remind you of your spiritual strength. And there's that moon energy and that intuition. Because you can see things as they clearly are. This 4 of Pentacles, like this man sitting on this chest of pentacles, like unwilling to share, unwilling to invest, unwilling to care. You know, he's almost like dealing with his own insecurities. He's dealing with his own feeling trapped and hopelessness. Like if he just opened up the chest, it's kind of like a metaphor. If like he just opened up his heart, he would see all the abundance and not be so afraid and not live in such a fearful mindset. Okay, so again, I feel like you're dealing with like a more divine feminine energy that's trying to pull you out of these distorted realities that people have conjured up, and these false narratives people have conjured up, and start empowering yourself to really fully embrace your truth and your story and your narrative. Because your ancestors are like, yeah, we might have not left you with a whole lot. Like, we might not have left you with a chest full of pentacles, but we left you with the ability to create your own pentacles and your own abundance and your own emotional fulfillment through our own, decision making processes. Like, you kind of inherit it, like, oh wait, what not to do versus what to do. Okay, but I also see that you're also dealing with a masculine that's like very stuck in continuing the cycle of narratives that his ancestors, probably grandma type stuff, instilled on him. Okay, so he's not even looking very far back to, before money was a type of currency. He's looking right in the present energy, or like, well, I mean, it's kind of the past, but he's making it about it. He's making his present about it. It's like, yeah, but if you go really far back, what did we use as currency? Energy. Like, if we felt good and safe around someone, we probably were in the cave with them. Like, we probably were in the village with them or whatever. We probably traveled with them. We probably looked for food with them and foraged with them. Like, we probably started families with them. But now we're dealing with something much different, where it's like, the more money in your bank account, the more likely people are drawn to you. Right? If you lose a resource, you lose your shelter, you lose your car, you lose money, and you have to ask for help. Now all of a sudden no one wants to be around you. Now all of a sudden it's like disgrace. But that didn't even exist back then. So now society has sort of managed their own systems, their own narratives of saying what equals respect and diplomacy versus what deserves, taking over and creating their own narrative and trying to control people. So we have confidence here. It comes with time and practice. Okay, so there you have it. It's not, you're not gonna like overnight just like start seeing like a whole bunch of like-minded individuals, like beautiful souls like yourself, just kind of like, be there. But it's because you're being confident with yourself and you're being strong and you're being that voice of reason and reality that you are going to end up traveling. You're going to end up going on a journey, and you are going to end up being around people. But it takes that like first initiative step, like buying your ticket and getting on the train. Okay? And there's the sword too. So like, not everyone wants to see the truth. Not everyone seeks clarity. Not everyone has a vision, a clear vision of what they want their future to hold for them and to have for them. Some people choose to live by outdated systems that didn't even exist like 10,000 years ago or whatever. I don't know. I you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. This woman is sitting on a train and going north. She's following her true north. She's following her path. Okay? Those who are meant to be on that path with you are going to show up right in the nick of time. Like, you're going to start to see signs from the universe that it's like, I know it doesn't seem like everything's working out right now, but it actually is working out in your favor. I hope our paths will cross again in the future. Okay, if you're wondering about your soulmate, I just finished soulmate reading. So if you're worried about what's going on with that, here's your love message. Okay, if you have gotten, if there's been no communication, there's your message for you. Okay, so your person knows that you're on a very specific path. They know you're in a very specific type of alignment right now, and they understand that when your paths are meant to cross again, they will cross again. Okay, but right now, obviously, you have a lot going on here. New beginnings. Begin your new life. There you go. There's the phoenix rising from the ashes. They try to burn you down. There's so much fire energy here. There's a lot of that excitement and the fire of passions and creativity and the sparks, and they're all happening for a reason. Your flame is burning bright here, internally and externally. Okay. Yeah, we have the world here. You definitely feel like there's a lot of eyes on you, a lot of people watching you, but the right people that are watching you are going to make you feel safe and protected. Like, they're keeping an eye on you. They're like, we got you, don't worry. Whereas there's another version where it's like the shadow version where you have a lot of eyes on you that are judging you or trying to wreak havoc on your life or trying to, destroy you, right? Destroy your life in very unpleasant ways and threaten your livelihood and threaten your well-being. That's not love. That's not respect. That's not family. That's not someone with a soul or a heart. That's someone who's distorted. And that's why, again, this series is like the Shadow Queen series, okay? Because it's just a term that, I find there's going to be a lot of distorted energy, okay, that sees you identifying yourself as who you feel you are in your soul and trying to diminish that and trying to distort that and trying to destroy who you see yourself as. And, that's not okay, obviously. It's violation of your humanity. Abandonment, walking away, disappointment, 8 of Cups, stagnation, clinginess, fear of moving on. Okay, so the love message was, I hope our paths will cross again in the future. Okay, so you have a person walking away and then another person just standing there watching them walk away. So I definitely feel like you probably had to let someone go because there was a lot of disappointment there. There was a lot of sense of abandonment. But don't be afraid of moving on. I feel like you already have and you already are, but sometimes I feel like this person can just like pop up when you least expect it. Or maybe, actually maybe you did expect it, but not really in the way that, it wasn't exactly the way what you hoped for, but that gave you more clarity. At least it gave you more clarity. King of Swords. It's definitely a person who gave you a lot of clarity. Mind over matter. Do it by the book. Truthful, wise, legal matters, regimented, rational, stern, precise, candid, detached, eloquent, and logic. We have authoritarian, sarcastic, cold, controlling, unbending, lacks integrity, sharp, drunk on power, and a loose cannon. So if you want, someone who is logical and rational, then, you're not going to settle for drunk on power. You're not going to settle for someone who is a bit unhinged here, a bit of a lunatic here, okay? And cold and controlling, those are not attractive qualities in a person. So yeah, if you're channeling in this divine feminine energy, if you're working with your ancestors, if you're going through this huge, big, giant rebirth, this big, giant upgrade, like spiritual upgrade, you need someone to meet you at your level where you are. And I think right now you have a very different energy happening. That's like another reason why you're like, well, maybe our paths will cross again in the future, when this person is less authoritarian, toxic. Okay, positivity. You have a lot of positivity here. Okay, regardless of what's going on in your love life, regardless of oh my God, even look at this. Even it says inseparable. Our love is always there despite the distance. Oh my God, see, there's someone here who does really love you and care about you, even though they know you're far apart from each other right now. Okay, they're still holding on to you. Like, there's still a flame burning bright here. Okay, so a lot of flames. The phoenix is flaming, the sword is fire here. So there is definitely a lot of passion. There's definitely a lot of creativity when it comes to this connection. But right now, I think you're more focused on what you need to take care of, and by the book, legal matters, you're like coming from a very logical perspective. There's a layer of feelings, there's a layer of needing to understand where this person is coming from, and they want to understand you. But I think you both kind of have come to this sort of like agreement where your souls are always going to be inseparable, even if you're physically not with each other. And then we have here, I am worthy of all the pleasure my heart desires, inviting ecstasy. Okay, so there is a need for you to feel loved and to feel respected and to have that mutual connection with someone when it comes to picking a person that you want to be with. But you also know that there's like a realistic level to feeling safe and secure around that person, and there's a lot of other layers and elements that need to align first before you fully open yourself up to trusting someone and being vulnerable with them. And it looks like the person that you do trust and that you do want to be vulnerable with, it looks like you guys are physically not together right now. Like, they're very far away from you, for example, like physically, but you still have that connection with them. All right, so that's my message for you, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Bye.